Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to review the new Netflix science fiction movie, Mute, that stars Alexander Skarsgård, Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux, and is directed by Duncan Jones. Now, with the critical success of Blade Runner 2049 last year, even though some would see it as a financial failure, even though if you actually look into it, it actually made money and it did very well. And Altered Carbon, it seems now that cyberpunk, dystopian, sci-fi is back in and it's fashionable again. And what we get here is another science fiction movie in the same vein as those two things I've previously mentioned. And however, I haven't seen many. I've only seen a couple of reviews going into this movie. And whereas I haven't seen any particularly unkind reviews, they've been lukewarm, I think is the fair assessment that they've given on this movie. And after watching it, I can completely understand why. This film is a bit of a drag. It drags a little bit. And there's not a lot of glue holding it together in regards to story. What do we get with this movie? Well, Alexander Skarsgård is a mute. We see at the beginning that he loses his voice as a young boy. He nearly drowns in a lake and he gets his throat caught, and he comes from an Amish family and they refuse him surgery so that he can never find his voice again. They just assume God's going to cure him. So we next meet him as an adult. He's a mute. He's still following the Amish ways. Somebody refers to him in the movie as a tech-tard. In the fact that he's useless with technology because he's rejected it basically. But he works at a bar and he's in love with I think, is she called Nadia, something like that, this lady at the bar, and they are in love, and she goes missing and he then is on the trail trying to find out what happened to her. But with him not being particularly tech savvy, it doesn't make it easy for him to try and track her down. And as well as all that going on, we have Paul Rudd's character and Justin Theroux, who are surgeons who work essentially for the mob. In this set in Germany, I think it is this. They work for the mob, sewing up, criminals, things like that. And they are tied in and connected to this. And I'm not going to say how because it would ruin the movie. But they're all intertwined. So the movie essentially is basically just Alexander Skarsgård trying to track down his girlfriend, with scenes of Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux thrown in there as well. And you get a little bit of action after about an hour and a half. And that's it. And that's the worst thing about this movie. It just drags. There's not a lot to it. It's a bit dull. The performances, Alexander Skarsgård, I think, gives a pretty nice, tender performance, and I believed him. And I thought it was going to grade the mute thing after a while, but actually, it gave quite an impressive performance. And I think Alexander Skarsgård is a star waiting to happen. I really, really do. It reminds me a little bit of Ryan Reynolds, who was having miss after miss for years, Ryan Reynolds, and then he finally hit it big time. I honestly think that Alexander Skarsgård is a star in the making. I thought Tarzan was going to do it for him and it didn't. This isn't going to do it for him in regards to thrusting him into the limelight, but I think he's going to do it. I really, really like him as an actor. The two standouts in this movie, though, are Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux. In particular, Paul Rudd, who plays a great, likeable but deeply unlikable character at the same time, and that's not an easy thing to do. He plays this really scummy surgeon, but with some fantastic witty one-liners, and their chemistry, Justin Theroux and Paul Rudd's, is fantastic in the movie. Other than that, though, like I say, the visuals are impressive, but they are nothing along the same lines as Blade Runner, and not even really Altered Carbon. They're pretty good. They try and go for like a gritty, realistic mesh of old tech and new tech, and it can kind of blend it all together, and it kind of works, but there's just something about it. It just felt a bit cheap, I suppose. and that's it. It's just an investigation movie without a private eye. He's like the worst detective in the world, Alexander Skarsgård, and he just goes moping about trying to find his girlfriend, and that doesn't make an engaging film. It's just a bit boring. But it's not bad. It's well made. I think Duncan Jones does a decent job. It's well acted. There's a good budget behind it. It's just not engaging and compelling stuff. I didn't at any point while I was watching this, think this is shocking. This is terrible. I'm not enjoying this. It kept me interested. I wanted to continue to watch it, but by the end of it, you just kind of think, okay, I'll watch that again, but it was okay. So I'll have to give it a 6 out of 10, slightly above average, but nothing particularly impressive here, guys. So the reviews you've seen are accurate. So thanks for watching. If this is your first time visiting, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks very much for watching, everybody.